Peace. What's going on, you guys? Hello, hello, hello. We're in here for another quickie. All right. This is about the sign of the prophet Jonah. Okay. And it's like when people are running around, they want a sign, they want to see the signs, they're looking for signs, they're saying the signs of end of times. This is the end of times. He says there'll be no such signs. This is it's adulterous generation. And, you have to understand that this is a spiritual book. And, this adulterous generation means that they're running around with something other than mother. And that adulterous generation is just dying to know when the end of times is. And it tells you there is no real end of time. The idea is that your father knows, but no one else knows. Only your father, which is above, or father, will know when this time it comes. They're talking about you, and and what happens in the Jonah story, if we can keep it quick, is Jonah starts off his whole entire story by the well. So he's already in meditation. He's already in this place. He's already representing the spirit of someone or something. And in this situation, I would not doubt that it was his neighbor, those people of Nineveh. All right. They were the adulterers. They were the bad guys too. They were the evil ones. And so we find that he wants God to destroy them. And God says, no, I want you to go over there and tell them of my law. I want you to go and tell them what's going on. Now, he doesn't want to do this. And he takes off on a long trip to get the hell out of Dodge. And his trip comes from the mind. He's going down out, he's going to the water and he's jumping out. He's launching on a boat. He's hiding from God. So he thinks he is, all right? But God follows him around. And he says, in order to save this boat, in order to save this ship, in order to save this vessel, which is you in the story, you're going to have to toss me over. You and these 5 guys on this boat going to have to toss me over into the water in order to save this boat. And what does he do? He lands right into the mouth of a well. This is God. This is what you want. So is the 3 days as the coming of the Lord. It's going to be in there for 3 days and 3 nights. This is the idea of just being like with Noah, this idea of going into an ark and the rain for 40 days and 40 nights. Well, that's a traveling number for that idea of going from west to east. It's about changing your mind. He doesn't destroy anything. That's the point behind this. And when it all comes down to it, this whale finally spits him up on shore, after he's done his works, right? Spits him up on shore, said, now go and do as I told you to do, all right? You see, this is the idea that God, you are in charge of this, are totally in charge of this day that happens. Father, when he decides, he says, you know what? I told you to go over there and tell them about my word. Now go, get up. So he spits him up on the shore. He goes over and tells them the word. Now he's not telling them the word, all right? He's not telling them the letter. He's telling them how to fast and how to do things, because what does the king of Nineveh makes a declaration that everybody has to go into prayer and fast. And this business passed them over and there was no destruction of them. But what did happen is that their minds were changed, were miraculously changed from the Western way of thinking, which is through death, to life, and choosing life as the as the key here. And each one of these situations is this idea of doing God's command. And God told you to honor mother and father. All right. And so this is just one story out of many that talk about going inside and landing on the rock using this particular part of us, Petra, this Peter, This is where Jesus. This is where Jesus. This is where his ministry and everything sits atop of this rock. Everything is about this rock. All right, and so we also know that in Mark, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to lose you real quick, but in Mark 9, verses 29, we have this idea of this child that has evil in it. And it says, Jesus tells them, it says, how come we couldn't get rid of him? How come we couldn't just get rid of him? He says, because you can't just move something like that out. It takes prayer. It takes fasting and prayer in order to get rid of this evil. So we get another confirmation that's going to take some fasting, and it doesn't mean losing your weight because you're not eating. It means that you're losing your evil side of you, the lower mind, by cutting off the lower mind desires by going within, and then everything goes to town from there. So here we have Jonah representing the soul, and this city that they're talking about, 9 even. Listen to what it's called, Nineveh. All right, just look at it, how it's written. 9 is conscious and it's even. So there's something really beautiful is going to happen here. So it's it's all in the words. It's all in the letters and numbers. It's all in the code. All right. Hope you got something out of this. Try to be quick. All right. Love you.